What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark, MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and I'm taking a second look today. It's Black History Month, and this is The Blackening. I, I don't. This isn't really Black history. It's just an all-black cast doing a horror movie, which in and of itself is interesting. And this film is just sort of very meta and self-aware. And actually, the first time that I saw this movie, I did not have audio description for it. So this time I do. It since has proliferated with audio description, which is good because you should watch it with audio description because it's a horror movie. And so even though I was picking up vibes and thinking things were funny the first time, I didn't get the horror moments. I didn't understand them. I didn't get the gore. You know what I'm saying? Like anything that was in there, didn't understand it. There's so much context that I was given just by listening to the audio description track. And I really liked the narrator too, by the way. He had a deep voice. I love those deep voices. I was like, I want my voice to be down. I want my voice to be down here. Hello, my voice. I'm doing the narration for The Blackening. It's like, hello, sir. I'm here too. I'm here to talk about The Blackening. Like and subscribe because I'm a blind film critic. And while everybody else is running away from DEI, I'd like for us to run towards it. So that'd be great if you could like and subscribe. So The Blackening, it's from a couple of years ago. I actually think they're making a sequel. How do I know this? Because when I searched for The Blackening to remind myself of who was in the cast, is there anybody that I should point out that I remembered from other things, other than Jermaine Fowler? I noticed that there was something called the Blackening sequel that was listed, so I think they're making a sequel. that's a pretty good indicator of that. I'm sure it'll acquire a better title, although I would love for it to just still be called the Blackening sequel when it's released. I think that would be funny. Considering The Blackening is already sort of very self-aware and meta of what it is, I think the Blackening sequel would be hilarious. Also, how they change the like the like Die Hard to Die Harder, like how they do that thing. It should be, I don't know, the Blackening to the blacker or something, the blackerist. I don't know. There are many possibilities, but I'm hoping they choose a wickedly clever title because I think this movie's smart. I think this movie's clever. I think this movie's funny. And the one thing it's not, though, is scary. That's the one thing. It's a horror comedy that I was never scared. I was never like, oh, what's happening here? It never ratchets up the tension. So this falls into the total comedy little pile, like Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which is just silly fun. It's not scary at all. Some of the films have some elements to them, like Cabin in the Woods has some moments where you could be like, ooh, I don't know about this. But this one doesn't really have that. The gore is not terrible either, so it's kind of light on gore. The audio description track, though, comes in clutch. I love that every single time that test pattern comes up, it just straight up says the racist test pattern. Like, I loved every single time they said that. I was like, thank you. Thank you for saying what it is, you know? That was probably one of the better parts of the movie for me. But other than that, it just like effectively describes everything. There's some little sort of like sight gags that work well. There's a gun in the movie that the one guy that has it is using it originally, and then it gets passed off, and this girl ends up picking it up, and she does that thing that, like, when you see it in movies where they always turn the gun sideways, and because it looks cool, right? It's like, what are you aiming at? You still have to aim the gun. And somebody else reaches in and like turns the gun back. Like one of her friends reaches in and like turns the gun back up. So like little jokes like that I missed the first time around. And it got me, you know. Also, um, a lot of the other side gags, just like little things that were happening throughout the film, having to do with people appearing at certain times. Um, so yeah, it's funny. I the game that they have to play is uh really silly. At the end of the day, it's it ends on the like the dumbest thing too, because it's like, so they get through all those questions and they get to that friends question, and like they answer it, but then the answer is, I don't know, I watch in living color. And I'm like, come on. What's the point of the question? I mean, you could say that about like literally anything. You'd be like, I don't know. You know. Um, so eh, that like that's like the one thing that I'm just like, come on now. But I don't like when horror movies don't play by their own rules and they just sort of like reinvent new ones. Yeah, I like this movie. You know, it's a bunch of people, kids going to cabin in the woods. I mean, that never ends well. Uh, I would love to see a movie where they go to the cabin in the woods, and it's just like the opening of the movie, and we think things are gonna go wrong, and then they leave the cabin in the woods, and it's fine, and then they return home, and that's where the horror is. Like, I want to see that movie. I want to see the movie where they go to the cabin in the woods, and then nothing happens, and we wait like 10 minutes, and we're like, huh, is anything? Where's the killer? And then like, oh, time to go home, and like they go home, and then there's like a killer waiting for them. Like that's, I think that would be the play, is to really catch somebody off guard. But definitely, if you haven't seen The Blackening, I would recommend it. The cast is solid across the board. Um, I not familiar with most, if not all of them. Um, I believe Antoinette Robinson was on Dear White People, the TV series, I think. Uh, so there's also Yvonne Orji, who's in here for like a minute. And I remember her from Insecure. So yeah, there are a couple people in here that I remember, but not too many. So I felt like I was being introduced to a lot of people, uh, and good cast though, and I hope to see, you know, whoever returns for a sequel return for a sequel. So I think I originally was like pitching The Blackening maybe as like a B. I actually am going to give The Blackening a B plus now that I have audio description, I have context, and I understand the jokes a little bit more. Again, it's maybe the movie that you wouldn't expect. It's maybe not, doesn't, maybe not necessarily for me, or maybe it is for me. So I always think about like, who are they preaching to? Do they want to preach to the choir, or do they want to preach beyond the choir and reach some other people? You know, that's always an interesting thought. And I'm thinking with The Blackening that the purpose of the movie is also to reach a little bit beyond maybe the most obvious demographic for this movie. So check out The Blackening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Inclusivity, diversity, equity, those aren't bad words. And I'll see you guys on the other side.